Excuse me, Christina, but just what do you think you're doing? I just saw you walking out of the office. Are you leaving already?
Oh, hello there, Miss Carlyle. I hope you had a productive day so far. Yes, I took care of all the work I was assigned for today, so seeing as it's 5 o'clock, I have nothing left to do. I was just about to clock out and head home. Why do you ask?
You think you have the right to just walk out of the office right away at 5?
Yes, I do. I don't have anything else on my plate for today, so yeah, I'm going home.
Hold it right there, Christina. You're not done yet. What about the data I told you to take care of earlier this morning? What happened with that?
Are you referring to the materials you asked me to produce to be used in the presentation for the Slock Spring Industries project?
Yes, obviously. I explicitly told you to have that on my desk by no later than 3 o'clock, but I don't see it anywhere.
I took care of all that before lunch. You should be able to find the data in the shared folder on the company's server.
What?
I spoke to you in person before I went on my lunch break, letting you know it was done, and you looked me in the eyes, nodded, and said, "Thank you." Also, just to make sure, I sent you a message through the company's chat system after I finished my lunch break, and once again you told me, "Thanks, got it."
You did? Oh, well, that's strange. I don't remember that at all.
From the sound of things, I presume you're still at the office, correct? If you could go to your chat window, I believe you'll find all the relative messages in my tab, as well as the file containing the data you asked me for.
Oh, there it is. I guess I must have overlooked it.
Oh, so you managed to find it? Well, I'm glad to hear that. Well then, if there's nothing else, I'll see you tomorrow. Enjoy your evening, Mrs. Carlyle.
Hey, we're not finished yet.
We're not? I was fairly certain I had addressed all of your concerns. Is there anything else?
Well, you may be finished, but I'm not. And I've been with this company for far longer than you have. What gives you the right to go home when I still have work left to do? You should be staying behind to help me finish my work.
I'm quite certain that using seniority as leverage to force junior employees to stay beyond their contracted hours is a clear violation of the employee harassment policy that our parent company sent out to all its child companies.
How dare you talk back to me?
Additionally, they also sent out a memo encouraging efficient work procedures to eliminate the need for employees to do overtime as part of our cost-cutting measures. So, in just this conversation alone, you have violated both the letter and spirit of both corporate policies. If I may be so bold, I would recommend that you cease behaving this way toward not only me, but all of the other employees in the office. Not only are you contributing to a negative work environment, but if these violations were made known to your quarterly review committee, it would have a serious negative effect on your evaluation. That's just my 2 cents, though. Do with it what you will.
What is wrong with you? Who do you think you are bringing up those stupid corporate policies to me? Just because you were transferred here from our parent company doesn't mean you're any better than me, and don't you forget that.
I'm sorry, did I give off the impression that I thought I was better than you?
Either that, or you're just a goody two-shoes and a suck-up to the corporate bosses.
I see. Well, I had no intentions of coming off that way, so if that's how I sounded, then I apologize.
And seriously, you're in no position to be giving me lectures about corporate memos or whatever.
I'm not?
No, you're not. Maybe if you were actually someone who mattered to this company, then I might pay a little bit more heed to your tirade right now. Look, I don't know how badly you had to mess up to be transferred here from our parent company, but the second you walked in that door, your experience there completely vanished. Poof, gone. It doesn't mean a thing here. You're no different than any other newbie, low-level employee we hire fresh out of college. I am your superior, and you will do what I say when I say.
For the record, I'm not at liberty to discuss all the details yet, but my transfer here from the corporate office wasn't a punitive transfer.
Oh, sure, of course. You're actually a super-duper important person on a big mission. Yeah, right, no one believes you. It's okay, it happens. They took a big chance on you, and you completely failed to live up to their expectations, so they're chucking you somewhere that you can't do too much damage. Just admit it.
By the way, if you're done with questions for me, would you mind if I asked you something?
What now?
Didn't you say you were working overtime right now?
Huh? Yeah, I was, but I'm just about to leave. Why?
I'm fairly sure that the materials for the Slock Spring Industries project presentation were supposed to be submitted to the department manager first thing tomorrow morning.
What? Wait, I thought those weren't due until Friday. I should still have another day to get them finished.
Tomorrow is Friday, Miss Carlyle.
It is?
Are you aware of what day it is today?
Well, let's see. Yesterday was Tuesday, I think.
I'm sorry, but yesterday was Wednesday, today is Thursday, tomorrow is Friday. Thus, the materials need to be ready by tomorrow morning, as I was saying.
Oh, no. Oh, this is terrible. What am I going to do?
Well, whatever it is you're going to do, I believe engaging in such a long text conversation about irrelevant matters is a less than efficient use of your time.
You little! Why didn't you tell me it was Thursday?
That's what calendars are for. There's nothing in my contract that states I have any responsibility to inform you of what day it is.
Christina, where are you right now?
Good afternoon, Miss Carlyle. I hope you had a pleasant morning. I was just in the middle of eating lunch in the employee cafeteria. Why do you ask?
You're doing what? And where? What makes you think you have the right to use the employee cafeteria?
The fact that I'm an employee of this company isn't enough. My contract clearly states that I have the ability to purchase lunch from the employee cafeteria if I so choose.
Oh, you cannot be serious. All the other employees here were hired by the company directly for their talent. You, on the other hand, were sent here from the parent company because of your lack of talent. We're not the same, and don't think for 1 second you're on our level. Plus, if you've got enough free time to eat lunch, then you should be working.
It's 12:45 right now, and my lunch break lasts until 1 o'clock.
Were you not paying attention just now? Lunch breaks are for employees who matter. You do not. I don't want to see you doing anything that doesn't involve making money for this company. You can eat after work.
Malnourishment on the job doesn't only result in decreased productivity as the day drags on, it can also lead to health episodes resulting in missed work, further reducing company efficiency.
Again, with the back-talking!
In addition to common human knowledge that people are much less efficient when working on an empty stomach, there are multiple studies showing that elimination of lunch breaks in favor of working reduces productivity by more than is gained by the additional hour of work during the day.
What are you?
And most importantly, my contract says I have a 1-hour lunch break from 12 to 1. I won't allow you, or anyone else for that matter, to take my lunch break from me. Now, I'm in the middle of a delicious meal, so if you'll excuse me, I'd like to get back to eating. The chicken soup they're serving today is quite good. I would recommend you giving it a try on your lunch break.
I have had it up to here with your insubordination. I'm coming right over there to teach you a lesson in this company's hierarchy. I hope you're ready for what happens next. Well, Christina, how does it feel? Have you managed to wash all that egg out of your hair yet?
Hello, Miss Carlyle. I hope your afternoon is going better than mine is. Since I have you, can I ask you to explain your actions just now?
Oh my God, you still don't get it?
I can't think of anything I've done to you to merit having a raw egg thrown at me.
I guess you really don't get it then. I bet you still don't understand that you're here because you're a useless flunky either. Is this what got you transferred? Your complete failure to respect your superiors?
I still don't understand what is so inappropriate about taking a break during my break time. I am a company employee, so I have every right to use the employee cafeteria.
I just told you. You barely even count as an employee of this company. You were sent here because you failed. You don't get to eat in the employee cafeteria, and you don't get breaks. Get back to work.
I told you before, my transfer here wasn't punitive.
And I told you before, no one believes that story. Now stop wasting the company's time and money and get back to work.
I was in the middle of my lunch break. It was my time.
You want to eat? Fine. You can wring the raw egg out of your hair into a bowl and drink that.
I took the afternoon off, so I'm going home.
What?
I'm going to have to take a shower to clean up all this egg from my hair, and I'll need to put my clothes in the laundry before they smell like rotten eggs. I obviously can't work like this, so the manager told me I was free to leave.
What about the presentation materials for the Edisburg project that I told you to make today?
From what I understand, making those materials was originally your responsibility. I don't see why you can't simply do your own work for yourself.
But if I can't get you to do them for me, there's no way I'll be able to finish them in time. Christina, you've got some explaining to do. What's the meaning of this? Why am I being suspended without pay?
Do you really need me to explain exactly what you did to deserve that relatively light punishment?
Yes, now explain what's going on right now.
Wow, Mrs. Carlyle, I am genuinely surprised at your lack of self-awareness.
Just what do you mean by that?
You threw a raw egg at me in the cafeteria last week.
Yeah, and what's the big deal with that? I don't deserve suspension for that.
The employee cafeteria was quite busy at that time, which means there were a lot of witnesses. You had quite a few people register complaints with HR about you that day.
What? Those pathetic losers went and tattled on me? Why? All I did was teach a snobby, stuck-up flunky like you your place. You obviously don't know how things work around here.
Even if it weren't for what you did to me last week, you would still have been in quite a lot of trouble as things stood. After seeing your positively shameful behavior in the employee cafeteria, dozens of your coworkers have come forward with complaints about a serious pattern of harassment and abuse by you.
Oh, they're just being dramatic babies.
Is that so? Well then, let me read you a summary of their contents. It seems that for quite some time you've been using your position of seniority to abuse, harass, coerce, and threaten junior colleagues. In particular, you apparently have a penchant for pushing off work that you should be doing onto them, typically involving threats to their career prospects or direct physical violence.
I'm still waiting for what the problem is. That's just the benefit that comes with seniority. I have every right to use my position to get those children to work for me, and that goes for you, too.
It does? You're going to have to explain that to me.
Obviously, you failed so hard at our parent company that they threw you out like last week's trash. You're lower than even the new hires we took on last week. You're nothing. You don't deserve to be paid for your work here. You should be paying the company for putting up with you.
Listen, Miss Carlyle, I have tried to tell you this multiple times before today, but you just haven't been listening, apparently. For the last time, my transfer here was not punitive. Here you go again with that same old story. If you would simply listen to what I'm telling you, I wouldn't have to say it over and over again like this.
You sure think you're hot stuff, huh, Christina? I mean, what is it with this attitude of yours? You act like you're some sort of corporate policy enforcement officer or something. As if you're actually valuable enough to do that kind of work.
I am the corporate policy enforcement officer.
Huh? You are?
Well, in a way, yes. Officially, your parent company is sending me out to all their child companies to promote employee education systems. But I actually have one more responsibility in addition to that. And that responsibility is to serve as a corporate compliance auditor.
A what?
I'm not the only one, either. There are a number of our child companies which have, as of yet, been unable to meet our cost-cutting goals, and auditors like me have been sent to all of them. And the result of my audit of this company is not good, to say the least. In particular, many of the issues I've discovered center around you, Miss Carlyle. You've been with the company for over 20 years now, and you've been taking advantage of that long history in a number of illicit ways. Specifically, you've been pushing off your own work onto more junior employees while you do, well, not much of anything. Even in the company's busiest season, you do multiple hours of overtime every night, but without any noteworthy accomplishments to show for it. Meanwhile, the people you push your work onto actually end up having to rack up hours of overtime that could have been avoided if you had simply done your own work. Do you have any idea how much money you specifically have cost the company by producing all this pointless overtime?
You're a total slimeball, Christina. How could you go around spying on me like this, lying about who you really are and what you're really doing? That's just not fair.
Well, if I were to come out my first day and say, "Hello, everyone, I'm a corporate compliance auditor and I'm here to inspect your company," I don't think that would be very helpful to my mission. I suppose you could consider me as something of an undercover agent. Undercover operations are often the only way to uncover wrongdoing, so I don't feel as though I've done anything unfair.
But, I mean...
If you'll excuse me, I still have an enormous amount of work to get back to.
Hey!
If you have any further questions about your punishment, you may direct them to your immediate superior at your company.
Hold on just one moment, Christina. If you're really with corporate, then you can do something about this, right? You can use your position to stop me from getting suspended, can't you?
I'm afraid I can't.
Oh, please, Christina, you've got to help me. I'll do anything.
My assignment was to serve as an auditor, and my mission in your company has completed. It's actually not in my authority to do anything about your punishment at all.
Then, what am I supposed to do now?
I suppose there's only one thing you can do. Wait patiently for the disciplinary committee to reach their decision on your final punishment. It shouldn't take very long, considering the amount of evidence I provided them with.
I can't believe this.
Enjoy the rest of your day. After that, while Mrs. Carlyle was able to avoid being fired, she was still sued by two of the junior employees she'd been harassing. And when she couldn't bear the shame of working with the people she was making monthly lawsuit settlement payments to, she quit voluntarily. It seems she's having a difficult time finding a new job. I hope for her sake that she finds something soon, however, because those settlement payments must be having an impact on her finances. As a result of my audit, the leadership structure at that company was given a massive shake-up. We've also brought in skilled technicians for new employee training. And with that, my time as an auditor has come to an end. I still have 3 months left on my assignment here, and when that's finished, I'll be in the running for a promotion. I hope to use my experience here in order to make all of our group companies more efficient and provide our employees with positive working environments.
May, are you there? I want to know just what the heck you think you're doing, huh? I mean, really, what is the matter with you? How could you do this to your own sister? How could you sleep with your own sister's husband? What in the world drove you to do that?
I was wondering when you were finally going to come to try and scold me like the old hag you are. But you can cry all you want. To me, it just sounds like the sobs of a sore loser.
A sore loser? You can't be serious, right? How dare you call me that? You realize you're in the wrong here, don't you?
Says you. Things seem to be going pretty well from where I'm standing. After all, Brian works for such a huge company and earns so much. Not to mention he's incredibly handsome. He was way too good for a fat, ugly nobody like you. Clearly, Brian deserves to be with someone more on his level. Someone like me. I guess you could say that him and I were destined to be together.
What are you talking about? Are you seriously trying to tell me that your soulmate was my husband?
Actually, that reminds me. Are you just reaching out to me because you finally got the divorce papers from Brian? Or because you heard that we were going to the courthouse to register ourselves as husband and wife?
It was the divorce papers, if you must know, and when I couldn't get a hold of Brian, I knew that I had to call you to get to the bottom of this.
Well, at least you know the truth. Brian and I are getting hitched! Isn't that amazing?
I still can't believe that you're doing this. It's just horrible. How can you even live with yourself doing this to your own sister?
Oh, please. Can't you just accept that this is over and done with? Anyways, hurry up and send off those divorce papers so we can get married. Thank you, sis. Hey there, Trish. How have you been? Can you believe it's been 5 whole years since we've last talked? What have you been up to lately? Are you still fat, ugly, and single?
Wait, is that really you, May? Wow. I was wondering when you were finally going to reach out to me again. But I should have known that you've barely even changed even after all this time.
Excuse me? And just what is that supposed to mean, huh?
You know exactly what it means. Now why are you messaging me? What do you want?
Whatever, I can let mean comments from a loser like you slide. Actually, I have some big news that I need to share with you. So, I guess we can just say that I'm being nice enough to ignore the snide remark that you made.
I don't really care what you do about that comment at this point. Just tell me what you're messaging me about.
So you really just want me to get straight to the point? No small talk or catching up after all this time?
May, do you have something you want to talk to me about or not? Because if not, then I don't see the point in carrying on like this.
You really are no fun, you know that? Fine. If you must know, next week I'm going to be coming home with my daughter!
Oh, wait, you're going to be coming with your daughter? I didn't even know that you had any children.
Well, I do. And that means that I gave our parents their very first grandchild. So, what do you think of that?
Well, how old is this daughter of yours?
She's 2 years old, if you must know.
2 years old? Is that really right?
Of course it is. You think I don't know how old my daughter is? Anyways, the reason that I'm coming home is because Brian and I got a divorce and I don't have anywhere else to go now. So, I'm coming back home.
Oh no, you mean that you two got a divorce? I thought that you were soulmates.
Can you believe it? I thought that we were soulmates too. That damn Brian quit his big fancy job and then took something that paid way less. He said some dumb thing about wanting to follow his dreams, and I know that that wasn't going to work out between us.
Hold on a second. So you're telling me that you went to the trouble of stealing your own sister's husband and then ended it all over a career change?
Sure, he might not have just become unemployed, but he took a job that paid so much less than what he used to get. I had no choice but to leave him, don't you see?
And now you want to come crawling back home because you have nowhere else to go?
I mean, that's a pretty nasty way of putting it, but the meaning is basically there.
And you really think that you can just disappear from all of our lives for 5 years and then just show up like nothing happened?
I think that when Mom and Dad see their favorite daughter come home with their first grandchild, that they might give me a break.
Well, we'll just see about that, won't we?
I suppose we will. Or rather, we would, but I have other plans. Namely, you're taking up too much space at Mom and Dad's house, and all you're going to do is get in the way of me. So, I need you out.
Sorry, you're trying to kick me out of the house. Do I understand that right?
Of course. What use even is there of keeping around some divorced old hag like you, huh? Nobody needs or wants you. Why do you think Brian left you when he realized that your sister was far superior to you, huh? I don't even know what he saw in you to begin with.
You know, I really don't think that you know what you're talking about right now at all.
And just what is that supposed to mean? Do you know something that I don't?
You could say that. For example, you aren't the one giving Mom and Dad their first grandchild.
What are you talking about? How is my daughter not their first grandchild?
Well, that would be because they already have a 4-year-old grandson, I'm afraid. In fact, they have 4 other grandchildren in addition to him.
Wait a second. You're telling me that you have 5 children? But that can't be right. I mean, you're such a fat, ugly cow. Who in the world would want to have kids with you?
Sorry, I guess I should have made that clear. It isn't that all 5 of the kids are my children.
What are you talking about them? Did you take in some strays off the street or something? Is this supposed to be some kind of plan to get Mom and Dad to like you more than they like me?
No, it's nothing like that, but as you know, we have a 3rd sister, right? Well, a few years ago, she married someone she was going to college with, and they started spitting out kids like nothing.
Hold on a second. You're telling me that Paula got married? Well, how many of the kids are hers then?
That's right.
she got married and her husband have 3 kids between the two of them now. Of course, she's the youngest of us, and we were all worried since she got pregnant her first year of college. But she stayed with her boyfriend, who's been really very supportive and responsible. As for me, I have a 2-year-old daughter and an 8-month-old son, so altogether our parents already have 5 grandchildren.
But, I mean, she's the youngest. But she gave our parents their first grandchildren. You have to be lying to me. I refuse to believe that you're telling me the truth. And how do you have 2 kids already? You're supposed to be alone forever.
You are right that some men in this world would hold having gotten divorced against a woman, but there are plenty of understanding men out there as well. Besides, it isn't like I've just been some shut-in ever since the last time we talked. For example, I still have my same job that I did when you fled.
But I don't get it. This wasn't how things were supposed to go.
Anyways, I feel like we've gotten a little bit off topic. But what were you saying about wanting to move back in with your daughter?
That's right. Even though I might not be bringing home Mom and Dad's first grandchild, I'm still their favorite daughter, and I know they'll love to have me come home. So, before I get there, I need you to move out of the house and make room for me. I don't care if you're there with your husband and kids. I want you all out.
But I don't even live with Mom and Dad anymore.
What do you mean? What are you talking about?
Yeah, a few months ago we were moving out of there, and now we're all gone from the house.
But that means that if you're gone, then I should just be able to move in without any issues, right?
I just really don't know if there would still even be a room left for you there, though.
What do you mean? If you and your family have all moved out, then there's got to be plenty of space for me there.
Do you even know where Mom and Dad's house is?
Of course I do! You really think that I don't have their address? Did you really think I was going to let something like that stop me from what I was doing? Thanks for telling me that you're gone. You've made this whole thing so much easier for me. Finally, tomorrow I can go home. Trish, are you there? What's going on? I don't understand. Where's the house? Why isn't the house where it's supposed to be? It's just a flat, empty lot now.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Mom and Dad were doing their best to stay there and keep the house. But in the end, they decided that it would just be easier to sell the whole thing and downsize.
So you're telling me that Mom and Dad sold their house and moved away?
That's right. Although I don't really know about how much they sold it for or who they sold it to, but I guess whoever owns the property now had some reason to get rid of the house. But then again, it was getting quite old, and I don't even know how safe it was to be inside.
But what about Mom and Dad? Where are they living now? What did they do after they moved?
Well, I told you about how a few months ago my husband and I were getting ready to move out, right?
That's right. You told me that you were all getting ready to move out of their house, but where did Mom and Dad go after that?
I guess I should have been more clear. It wasn't just my family that was doing that. Mom and Dad moved out then as well. They applied for a waiting list at a retirement home and have been renting an apartment until an opening comes along.
You mean that Mom and Dad are going to try and move into a retirement home?
I mean, they aren't exactly spring chickens anymore, you know? So they're in a pretty small space for the time being so that they can save up their money for when they move into the home. That's why I said that I really don't think that there would even be a room for you if you did move there.
But surely they must have some room for me. I mean, I'm their prettiest and favorite daughter, right?
I really think that you're the only one who thinks of yourself in that way. Because I'm pretty sure that our parents actually all love us equally.
No, that can't be true. How could you say something so awful?
I mean, if anything, you're now their least favorite after how you stole my husband from me. In fact, you should know that they told me if you ever show up in our lives again trying to ask for help, that they would have no problem turning you down right away.
But then, where am I supposed to go? Trish, are you there? I really need you right now. It's just terrible.
What is it this time, May? What could you possibly want from me now?
Are you really living in Brian's parents' house? What is going on? I want answers right now.
What are you talking about? I seriously have no idea what you're going on about.
I mean that after I learned about Mom and Dad's plans to move into a retirement home, I didn't have anywhere else to go. So then I tried going back to Brian's parents' place to try and patch things up with him. We were renting an apartment together before, but I know that he canceled the lease after we got divorced. So I thought that he might have gone back to live with his parents for the time being, but then when I got to his parents' house, I saw that your car was parked in their parking lot. Also, it wasn't even their house that was there anymore. Their house had been demolished and replaced with this really amazing-looking mansion.
Oh, that's what you're talking about. I guess that means that you were that sad-looking lady with her daughter that I saw staring from my window.
How dare you call me that? Just tell me what's going on right this instant. I want answers.
Right. I guess maybe I should have explained this to you the last time we talked. But the man that I got married to after you ran away was actually Brian's cousin.
Wait, what? You married Brian's cousin? But hold on. Isn't Brian's cousin that genius entrepreneur who was on the cover of all those finance magazines?
Yeah, actually, now that you mention it, I think that he has had a couple of interviews and photo shoots and stuff like that.
But then that still doesn't explain how Brian's cousin ended up owning Brian's parents' house. How did that happen?
Well, that happened about 5 years ago, actually, not long after you and Brian ran off with each other. Brian's mom was so shocked by what her son had done that she actually had to be hospitalized.
Wait, really? Are you serious about that?
Yep, I'm very serious about it. But I guess that you two were so caught up with what you were doing that you never heard about that happening. But anyways, Brian's parents just wanted a new start and got out of that house as soon as possible. So their nephew offered to buy their land for a good price so that they could get out right away. It wasn't long after that that we bumped into each other while running. Sparks flew, and the rest is history, pretty much. He demolished the house, and we built up a new one, and here we are.
But if his cousin bought the house from his parents, then what happened to Brian? I was sure that he would have gone back to live with his parents.
Actually, now that you say that, Brian stopped by here just a couple of days ago.
Hold on. Brian was here just a couple of days ago?
Yeah, that's right. He, like you, thought that his parents' house would still be here waiting for him. But the only person who was home then was his cousin, who explained to him what happened. Of course, he didn't give Brian his parents' new address. After Brian realized he wasn't going to get anywhere with his cousin, he just wandered off dejectedly.
Well, it would have been good to know all of this before I came all the way here.
I guess so. It's not really my problem either way. If you want to try and get back together with Brian, that is completely up to you. Either way, I want you to leave me out of it and stay away from my house. My husband and I don't want anything to do with you or whatever you're scheming.
But I don't have anywhere to go. You know that.
Well, don't think that you can come to me asking for help, because I have nothing to say to you at all. Got it?
But you're my sister. You can't do this to me. Please, you have to help me. We're supposed to be there for each other at times like these, right?
Oh, please. When were you ever there for me? You literally disappeared from all of our lives for 5 years, and now you think you're entitled to our help? You have some nerve even thinking that that's an option for you. Just leave me alone.
Trish, please don't do this to me! You're all I have left.
You lost me a long time ago, May. Now just go away and leave me alone forever. After that, May ran up to my front door and started ringing the doorbell over and over again. She never stopped until I finally called the police on her and they told her to get off my property. After that, I never ever saw her again.
Although according to some friends of friends who were still connected to my sister, she ended up moving in with some old friend, but she could never find Brian or anyone else to marry for that matter. I even heard that she ended up giving up her child for adoption since she could no longer take care of her. I never mentioned this to May, but Brian's parents actually ended up paying me off so that I wouldn't pursue their son for his infidelity. Not only that, but both May and Brian's parents ended up cutting them out of their wills. Although, I guess they have no way of knowing any of that now. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to see more content like this.